Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining me. We're taking a nice little ride today from Idaho City back down to Boise. And today we are riding with Terry and my buddy Jess, who finally lives out in Idaho now. He just recently moved out here. So congratulations, Jess. Pretty rad to have you here and to get to go riding with you again. I think up to this point, Jess and I hadn't ridden together in like, I don't know, 15 or more like 20 years. And we used to go riding a little bit, so that was nice. It's nice that he's back out here. The funny thing is, as long as I've known Jess, he has wanted to live in Idaho, or, you know, there's a few other places he was interested in, but he finally made it happen. Jess is riding on an '06 Road King. It's a extremely clean bike. It is very, very nice. He's got lots of plans on what he wants to do with it, but he's taking his time, so, and that's fine. Get to go get some riding in. So anyways, let's see. How long have I known Jess? I've known Jess since probably like freshman year of high school. We didn't necessarily run in the same circles, but anytime there was a school function, his last name is Tatro and my last name is Taylor. And so we were always seated next to each other. And we were both just the right kind of dipshit. We got along great, clowned around, had a great time. And then when we graduated high school, we just ended up hanging out together all the time. And, you know, we've spent a lot of time hanging out. I was there for, I think, 2 of his kids being born. Basically family. Jess is usually a pretty good influence on me. Back in the day, maybe not so much. I mean, unless getting in trouble is like good. But other than that, like, you know, Jess has always been a health conscious guy. He's done jujitsu as long as I can remember. He tried to get me to do jujitsu back in the day, but it didn't click for me, so I wasn't interested. He tried to get me to lift weights back in the day, and once again, didn't click for me. I wasn't interested. I was more interested in drinking. But as time has gone on, I started to listen to him on that stuff a little bit more, and finally got a few years of jiu-jitsu under my belt, and a couple of years ago I started actually lifting weights. And that's, you know, I got both my kids doing jiu-jitsu, my wife, my kids, and my parents all lifting weights. So that's a pretty solid influence, you know. All due to Jess and his recommendations, so that's really cool. Way back in the day when we were whippersnappers, we took a long ride from where we lived, which is Indio, California, up to Monterey. And I, at the time, had a 1985 or 87 Yamaha Maxim that I had rebuilt, a 750. It was a lot of miles to put on a physically small bike for me with a patchwork seat that I had made for it. But man, that was a fun trip. We had a really good time. Coming back home, I think we were in Pasadena when the motor on my bike just seized up. No idea what happened, but we did make it almost all the way home. Had to have somebody come with a pickup truck and load up my bike to get us the rest of the way home. But that was a really fun ride, which is one of the things that makes it so awesome that Jess is out here. We get to get back on the road again, get some riding in. Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of the like cooler aspects of the fact that Jess has moved out here is, you know, how old are you when you're a freshman? 14, 15, somewhere in that range. So we were basically full-blown moron teenagers and hanging out. And then we were young adults, you know, going to bars, running around, having a good time. Then, you know, all of the babies start coming, and we're young dads and husbands and trying to find our way, trying to make sure that we're making each other stronger and not weaker. And most of the time, there was some tomfoolery, you know. late nights at bars and that sort of stuff, but no major traumas there. You know, there's a couple of years where me and Jess weren't talking, and that was mostly my fault. But we ended up reconnected and getting back on track. But it's just a cool thing. I have really, really fond memories of, you know, taking the family over to their house for barbecues all the time and swimming in the pool and seeing their kids as little tiny kids who are now adults. And, you know, at the time I had little babies. Just a big part of my history is tied up there with Jess and his family. So it's really awesome to have him out here. And now we get to be old men complaining about everything and riding our slow Harleys, and it's pretty rad, man. It's a nice feeling, you know. It's cool to be out here in Idaho and have one of my best friends here, along with other people like my buddy Albert, who's from the desert as well. Yeah, so that's all the yapping I'm going to do for now. Next video coming out is going to be redoing the suspension on my bike. Hopefully there's no traumas involved with that, but who knows. So yeah, if you enjoy the video, I hate to ask, but I got to do it like everybody does. Make sure you subscribe. That'd be great. I'd be like super stoked for that. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoy the videos, and like always, if you got any criticism for me or critiques, lay it on me. I'm not too soft. I'll cry where nobody can see me, but I'll take the criticism. Anyways, man, have a good one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.